American people, he's so smart. I can't find anybody smarter. And even his young people who are working with him are smart. So you've got two businessmen.
As he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him.
President Trump will be addressing a tech investment summit in Miami Beach, Florida, and we will bring that to you live once it happens.
What happens when you mix a former president, a tech billionaire, and a bunch of bizarre statements? You get Trump's latest interview disaster. That's what. From praising worker firings to welcoming climate change for his beachfront properties, Trump's mouth ran faster than his brain. It's like he was playing how to lose voters and alienate people, and winning. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Well folks, it looks like our favorite orange tinted ex-president is at it again, and this time he's really outdone himself. Trump, the master of saying things that make you go, huh. Zrania has just dropped a climate change bombshell that's got everyone scratching their heads. In his latest interview, Trump decided to share his genius take on rising sea levels, and boy, is it a doozy. Instead of worrying about the potential catastrophe facing coastal communities, Trump's over here rubbing his tiny hands together at the thought of more beachfront property. That's right, folks. While scientists are warning us about the impending doom of climate change, Trump's busy planning his next golf resort.
But you know how you hear about celebrities and they say the marriage is in trouble? So you look at the two of them, and Greg, you're right.
He says, so really what your job is, Elon Musk, you're like tech support for Donald Trump, huh? You're like his tech.
Picture this. Trump standing on a rapidly eroding beach, proudly pointing at the rising waves and declaring, see, more ocean means more oceanfront property. It's huge. Meanwhile, the locals are packing up their belongings and heading for higher ground. But hey, at least they'll have a Trump hotel to stay at when their homes are underwater, right? Now let's take a moment to consider what the actual experts are saying about this whole sea level situation. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, you know, the folks who actually study this stuff, are predicting sea levels could rise anywhere from 1 to 8 feet by 2100. That's not exactly the kind of beachfront expansion Trump seems to be hoping for. But wait, there's more. Environmental organizations and climate scientists aren't exactly thrilled with Trump's visionary outlook. The Union of Concerned Scientists is warning that millions of Americans could be forced to pack up and move due to flooding and erosion. But I guess in Trump's world, that just means more potential customers for his imaginary underwater hotels. Now, you might be thinking, surely Trump must be joking, right? Well, if he is, nobody's laughing. The scientific community is pretty much in agreement here. Rising sea levels are a direct result of climate change caused by melting ice caps and expanding seawater. It's like the ocean is getting too big for its britches, and Trump's response is to tailor some new pants. Social media, as you can imagine, is having a field day with this. Twitter is ablaze with people mocking Trump's apparent lack of understanding of, well, basic science. One user wrote, Trump's climate change plan, invest in scuba gear companies. Another quipped, breaking, Trump announces plan to build world's first underwater golf course. But here's where things get really interesting. Trump's dismissive attitude towards climate change might just be the thing that sinks his political ship. Coastal states which are facing real threats from rising sea levels aren't too keen on a leader who thinks their impending doom is a real estate opportunity. It's like trying to sell sunscreen to someone whose house is on fire.
Actually, they dress in just t-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
VP, but what the hell are we watching right here in this weird fest with Donald Trump and Elon Musk?
As these coastal communities grapple with the very real consequences of climate change, Trump's flippant remarks are likely to leave a sour taste in voters' mouths. It's one thing to disagree on policy, but it's another to laugh in the face of a looming crisis that's threatening people's homes and livelihoods. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite tech billionaire might be wishing he could blast off to Mars right about now. Elon Musk's attempt to play Switzerland with Trump went about as well as trying to teach a goldfish to ride a bicycle. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. So there's our boy Elon trying to look all neutral and stuff while hosting the Donald. But let me tell you, Trump wasn't making it easy. It's like watching a cat try to stay calm in a room full of cucumbers. Musk's face was doing more gymnastics than a Russian Olympian as Trump kept spewing his usual word salad. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen poker faces with more expression than Musk during this interview. The poor guy was fidgeting more than a kid who needs to pee during a long car ride. Every time Trump opened his mouth to say something outrageous, which was basically every time he opened his mouth, Musk looked like he was mentally calculating the fastest route to the nearest exit.
Right. I mean, it's not just a president who won, the popular vote in the swing states and all that. This is something that is continuous.
I actually
But
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more than
support.
that.
I
Yeah.
literally am tech support though. But that's
He gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech.
But here's the kicker. Musk kept trying to steer the conversation away from the hot topics. It's like he was playing a game of don't let Trump say something stupid and losing spectacularly. Every time he tried to change the subject, Trump would barrel right through like a bull in a china shop. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. But the train was on fire and the conductor was wearing a MAGA hat. Now, let's not forget that Musk has a bit of a history with political flip-flopping. He's been known to play both sides of the fence, praising Trump 1 minute and criticizing him the next. It's like he's trying to win a game of political twister, but this time, it seems like he might have twisted himself into a knot he can't get out of.
The country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me. So I'm just trying to be useful.
This is the interesting.
Trump promised that he was going to reduce prices, but he's a con artist and a fraud when it comes to everything. And so now prices are going back up when
You've got to wonder what was going through Musk's mind during all this. Was he thinking about his Tesla stocks, his Twitter followers, or maybe he was just daydreaming about colonizing Mars and leaving all this drama behind? Whatever it was, his body language was screaming, "Help me!" louder than a cat in a bathtub. And speaking of help, Musk might need some damage control after this fiasco. His investors are probably having heart palpitations right now. I mean, can you imagine the group chat of Tesla board members? It's probably more explosive than a SpaceX rocket launch gone wrong. They're probably worried that Musk's little dance with Trump might send some of their customers running for the hills faster than you can say electric car. But here's the real question. Will Musk try to distance himself from Trump after this? Or will he double down and invite him for a joyride in a Cybertruck? My money's on Musk trying to play it cool and pretend this whole thing never happened. He'll probably tweet something cryptic about AI or post a meme about Dogecoin to distract us all. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange turd just gave us another reason to facepalm. Trump's latest interview with Musk wasn't just a tech disaster, it was a workers' rights nightmare. Did Grumpy Trumpy really just give Elon a pat on the back for firing people? Talk about a plot twist that'll make blue-collar voters see more red than a MAGA hat convention.
Some of their polling, even the Democrats are starting to say, oh, wait, this is actually popular.
Yeah, it is belied by the polling. You're absolutely.
But Sean Hannity tries to help and Donald Trump still acts weirder.
Let's rewind a bit and remember Trump's rocky relationship with labor unions. During his time in the White House, he was about as friendly to unions as a cat is to a bathtub. He spent more time criticizing them than he did tweeting, which is saying something. His policies were all about helping big businesses, not the little guy who actually does the work. Now, fast forward to this train wreck of an interview. Trump's sitting there with Musk, probably daydreaming about his next taco bowl, when he decides to praise Elon for firing striking workers at Twitter. It's like he forgot he was on camera and not in some secret billionaires club meeting. Labor advocates and unions were not happy, to say the least. They saw this as Trump basically saying, hey, it's cool to treat workers like disposable napkins.
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some
So
are,
they do-
okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But I think it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could.
About whether people were getting paid at Doge, and Hannity's like, no one's getting paid, right? And then Musk is like, actually, they are getting paid.
But let's talk about what those Twitter layoffs really meant. We're not just talking about a few people losing their jobs here. Nope. Musk went full Thanos and snapped away nearly half of Twitter's workforce. That's thousands of people suddenly without a paycheck, health insurance, or a way to afford their avocado toast. And Trump's over here acting like it's the best thing since sliced coffee.
It's going to save your life. And that's all Doge is basically a bureaucratic colonoscopy, which is necessary.
You know, I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering, it would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting?
Remember back in 2016 when Trump was all, I'm gonna be the best president for American workers ever? Yeah, about that. It's like he took those promises, crumpled them up, and used them to stuff his ego. His recent comments are about as far from protecting workers as Mar-a-Lago is from being a humble abode. Labor unions and worker groups are madder than a wet hen in a thunderstorm. They're saying Trump's praise for these layoffs is like a slap in the face to every hardworking American. It's undermining the fight for fair treatment and job security faster than you can say you're fired.
But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done.
Sean Hannity was asking questions. This was a disaster of an interview. Donald Trump announced right away that inflation is back.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Trump might have just shot himself in the foot with his golden gun. Blue-collar voters, especially in those swing states where every vote counts, are paying attention, and they're not liking what they're hearing. It's like Trump forgot these are the same people he needs to win over if he wants another shot at redecorating the White House. Labor organizations are speaking out, and they're not mincing words. They're saying Trump's recent foot-and-mouth disease might just cost him big time with voters who care about workers' rights. It's like he's alienating his base faster than he can build a wall. So what's next in this political soap opera? How will this play out in those key swing states where labor issues are hotter than a 4th of July barbecue? Will Trump try to backpedal faster than a clown on a unicycle? Or will he double down and invite Musk for a round of golf where they can discuss new ways to make life harder for the average Joe? Alright folks, just when you thought our favorite orange turd couldn't get any more bananas, he's gone and outdone himself. Trump's latest bright idea? A cozy little getaway to, wait for it, Venezuela. That's right, the same Venezuela that's about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. But hey, according to Donnie Diapers, it's far safer than the good old US of A. I guess he missed the memo about Venezuela's current situation being slightly less inviting than a root canal without anesthesia. Now, let's break this down for a second. Venezuela isn't exactly topping the charts for dream vacation spots these days. The country's been dealing with a teeny tiny economic crisis that makes the Great Depression look like a minor hiccup. We're talking hyperinflation so bad that their money's worth less than monopoly cash. The healthcare system? It's hanging on by a thread thinner than Trump's comb-over. And poverty. It's spreading faster than rumors at a high school prom.
If a doctor tells you that they need to remove a polyp from your colon, but they need to put a camera up there.
President Donald Trump gave an interview with Elon Musk to Fox. Donald Trump was sitting next to his handler, Elon Musk.
But wait, there's more. Venezuela is not just economically unstable. It's got a crime rate that would make even the toughest New Yorker think twice. In 2021, the homicide rate in Venezuela was about 60.3 per 100,000 people. To put that in perspective, the US rate was 6.9 per 100,000. So by Trump's logic, a place where you're roughly 9 times more likely to get murdered is far safer. Makes perfect sense, right? I guess in Trump's world, danger is like golf scores. The higher, the better.
I mean, it's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time.
Matters.
But
That's why.
but he's on your team. Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's
Dangerous, especially considering that Doge run by Elon Musk is gaining access to your tax records, your medical records, your...
And let's not forget about those pesky human rights. You know, those little things like freedom of speech, fair trials, and not getting thrown in jail for disagreeing with the government. Human rights organizations are having a field day with Trump's comments. They're probably wondering if Trump thinks extrajudicial killings is some kind of extreme sport. But the real kicker? The reactions from Venezuelan American organizations. They're about as thrilled with Trump's comments as a vegetarian at a steakhouse. Many are saying that his remarks make light of the suffering Venezuelans are going through. It's like Trump walked up to someone whose house is on fire and said, "Nice sauna you've got there." Now, let's talk politics for a second. Venezuela's government, led by Nicolas Maduro, isn't exactly winning any popularity contests. It's been accused of being more authoritarian than a school principal on a power trip. So Trump suggesting a meetup there is about as politically savvy as wearing a "I love pineapple on pizza" shirt to a traditional Italian restaurant. But here's where it gets really juicy. Trump's little Venezuela vacation plan could have some serious diplomatic consequences. It's like he's giving a thumbs up to Maduro's regime, which is about as popular in the international community as a skunk at a perfume convention. And let's not even get started on what this could do to his standing with Latino voters. It's like he's trying to alienate them faster than you can say bad hombre.
find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You
I couldn't.
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone's
Social security information and all of your private data just going in the hands of a billionaire oligarch. I mean, what are we even?
Well, folks, it looks like our grumpy Trumpy's big comeback interview turned into a comedy goldmine. Who knew that trying to explain climate change could be so hilarious? But here's the kicker. Trump's poll numbers are taking a nosedive faster than his hairpiece in a windstorm. Seems like his strategy of trash-talking Vice President Kamala Harris isn't going over too well, especially with white male voters. Analysts are scratching their heads, wondering if Trump forgot that talking about actual issues might be a good idea. But hey, who needs policies when you can just insult people, right? It's like watching a clown car crash in slow motion, and the voters are starting to realize they don't want to be along for the ride. So what's next for the Orange Turd's 2024 campaign? Maybe he'll start blaming the poll numbers on fake news or claim he's actually winning in some alternate universe. One thing's for sure, Trump's got a real talent for turning interviews into comedy gold. Who needs late night TV when you've got Donnie Diapers on the loose?